Hi, Caspar, the 31st of July 2019. Got a real old timer here. This is 2009 Châteauneuf-du-Pape Blanc from domain Saint-Préfert. Domain Saint-Préfert owned by, and the wine's made by Isabelle Ferrando, relatively new estate. And yeah, white Châteauneuf, weird one, just in terms of drinking days. One website, jancesrobinson.com, suggests this should have been drunk by 2014, the other end of the scale, and a person I trust very much on matters vinous and Rhône, John Livingston Learmonth, suggests this could be drunk to 2030 to 32. Well, I wasn't sure what to expect really, in that I haven't drunk one for a while. Colour has deepened significantly. It's got a real gold, positive colour to it, but a hint of sort of white steel about it as well, which suggests that all is well to me. 85% Clairette, 15% Roussanne, so none of the Clairette Rose, which Isabelle found complanté, sort of planted with other vines in her vineyard, and actually she went around tying bits of ribbon to the Clairette Rose vines, and now makes a cuvée 100% Clairette Rose. Not a separate grape variety in Châteauneuf-du-Pape legal terms, Clairette Rose, but yeah, so interesting one. So it's I guess the 14th or 15th of 13 permitted grape varieties in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, along with Grenache Blanc, which is really classed as Grenache Rouge. Anyway, all very confusing. 13.5% alcohol, 2009, clearly a very warm vintage Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So, what are we going to find? Nose is really subtle and not terrifically exuberant, must be said. It's got a sort of white peach, a nut aroma, a bit of spice, but it's a dry nose, and as I say, not particularly forthcoming. Very nice smell. I like the fact that it's slightly introverted. It's not really shouting about itself, and it's certainly not got any of the gluey sort of aspects of one might expect in some white Rhône. There's perhaps a little herbal, noting a bit of licoricey aroma, a little bit smoky. I think there's a little bit of new oak in here, about 30% new wood. Really good. I mean, it's got a bit of complexity to it. It's quite cold, this glass. Interesting nose, a nose you can sit and just sniff for quite a while. It's got a really interesting things going on in there. The palate is nicely dry as well. It hasn't got any oily, sort of buttery, gluey character that, again, you might find in some white Rhônes. It comes down to really quite a dry finish, slightly earthy textured finish. And nut and peach and lots of flavours that are really hard to put your finger on. There's a hint of caramel, but no more than a hint. And smoke and then that almost slightly tannic effect at the back. Lowish acidity. Into dry banana chips maybe. But density and drive. Some mineral energy in there, piquant sort of mineral energy that sparks the whole thing to life. Good sustain, hint of bitterness about it, which I like, adding to that sense of refreshment created by the minerality. It's a really interesting wine. I think it's a, you know, it's a food wine. I wouldn't sit around drinking this on its own, but dry, dense, appealing, earthy. Sums it up, I think. Almost something slightly exotic. And the spiciness particularly. Yeah, really interesting glass of wine. Clearly still firing. And how much longer it'll last, who knows? Gosh, these wines are a complete enigma when it comes to aging, but that has been and is and will be delicious, I must say. Really fascinating glass of wine. So that's been 2009 Châteauneuf-du-Pape Blanc from Domaine Saint-Préfert. I am liking it very much indeed. I like Isabelle Ferrando's wines, red and white, but that's delicious, I must say. Lovely.